What's going on, everybody? Toby1 Shinobi here, and today I'm going to teach you how to dominate in Fortnite with the Mandalorian Jetpack. Now, I'm honestly hesitant to even share this information with you because it's going to make Fortnite a nightmare for a lot of players. This jetpack is probably the most underrated item this season because of a few things people don't realize about it. So let's get straight into it and make sure you stick around for some of the more advanced tricks at the end of the video. Now, on first release, I felt like the Mandalorian Jetpack was pretty underwhelming and pretty much a reskin of the old OG jetpack, but I was totally wrong. I actually lost a game to a very novice player who was using the jetpack, and after that I realized just how crazy it was. You see, for some reason, the Mandalorian jetpack has no visual audio icon, so you can't see which direction someone is flying above you. And this becomes a huge problem once they're above your head because the sound is faint, especially while gunshots are going off, and you have no idea where you're being hit from. So the easiest way to win fights this season is to get above someone's head without them knowing right away, and then just stay right above their head and shoot straight down. It will always take them more than a second to realize where you're hitting them from because their visual audio for gunshots will show lateral angles, so they'll probably think they're being hit from ground level. In addition to that, the lasers this season have tracers that are very hard to track when people are shooting for some reason. At least I have a hard time. Comment down below if you're having a hard time figuring out where people are shooting you from this season, or if it's just me. So if your enemy ends up spotting you while you're in the air, you can just fly laterally over their head in the other direction. See, the problem is when someone's straight above your head in a shooter game, it's the most problematic angle because the moment you look up to shoot them, they can fly over you, and then you have to spin your camera 180 degrees again to even get a chance of shooting them. You can't bend over backwards past 90 degrees in shooter games, so as soon as someone approaches that 90-degree angle, you have to start making decisions about repositioning to find them. Long story short, if you repeatedly fly back and forth over their head with the jetpack, you give them no opportunity to hit you because you are breaking their camera over and over again. Now, using the jetpack directly above enemies' heads is especially nasty in team modes where you enter a fight from the air while your enemies are focused on your teammate. You literally just get to hover above them and deal free headshot damage while they're dumbfounded about how they are taking so much damage and can't figure out where to take cover to avoid the damage. Surprise, you can't take cover unless you got something above your head, and that's a real problem in Fortnite Zero Build. All of the clips you're seeing in this video were taken from a few games where I absolutely abused this in duos, and I'd guess that I didn't even take a shred of damage in 90% of the fights when I entered as support from the air and my teammate was the bait on the ground. Now, the key to this is you need to get into the air without your enemies seeing you ascend or come in at all, so you need to be off their screen when you enter the air. This is best done with a shockwave, a lightsaber, or a combination of both, or even dropping out of an X-Wing or a TIE Fighter. Now, alternatively, you can break line of sight using a building or tree, then you gain a massive advantage on your enemy because they might know you are in the air, but it's very difficult for them to tell where exactly, and then you can just drop straight down on their head for a quick camera break in a 1v1 situation, which often gives you a free shotgun shot on them. Alright, now let's get into some war crimes that you can commit from the air that really shouldn't be possible in the game of Fortnite. Starting off with lightsabers. The Palpatine electric shock is absolutely devastating from the air because they can't hide from it, and it auto aims for you while dealing insane damage per second. So if you just shockwave above someone, hit your jetpack to stop, and then pull out the Palpatine lightsaber to shock them, I'd guess you're gonna win 99% of those fights in open field situations where your enemy doesn't have overhead cover. It's completely busted, and I regret sharing this information with you already. Please hit that like button so I can actually get a gauge on how many Fortnite lobbies we just ruined. Thank you. Next up, we have the Darth Maul rock throw ability with the lightsaber. It's pretty straightforward, same as Palpatine, but you need to be close to the ground or have objects like trees or telephone poles right next to you enabled to be able to actually throw rocks. So just get above your enemy's head with some stuff around you and then smash them with massive boulders in an instant before they can even react to what is happening. It's totally fair and balanced. Both of these abilities also break cover very easily, so you could also do it to open up a rat's nest and then cook them before they even realize what's going on. Because again, there is no visual audio icon when you're jetpacking. The last diabolical thing that I'd never recommend you do to anyone is use EMP grenades on players while jetpacking. Because honestly, it's just not fair when you can deal 100 damage to shields and shut down their vehicles without them even knowing where the EMPs are coming from. Then you just quickly finish the fight with your mid-range weapon of choice while still in the air, or drop on their head to finish them with a shotgun. In most cases, they're going to go straight back to the lobby without even understanding what just happened. Now let's move on to some more advanced and honestly more ethical ways to fight your opponents using jetpacks. First off, the jetpack is an awesome counter to X-Wings and TIE fighters this season, which are a huge problem. If an X-Wing or a TIE fighter gets you in their sights, just hover above the ground to avoid the splash damage from the blasters, and then ascend towards them. If you enter their vehicle and get on top of it, just start shooting it until they explode or they bail out. In either case, you can exit the roof position and drop off, and then quickly enter a hover with your jetpack to be right above their head with no visual audio, which basically gives you a free fight because after the plane crashes, they're going to be scrambling around to try to find you on the ground in the wreckage. Meanwhile, you're just above them hitting max damage headshot. I'll also quickly mention that there are two other great counters to X-Wings and TIE fighters this season, and those are wind sprites and launch pads. Both of these can be used to easily hijack a ship that is flying towards you at low altitude. You have far more maneuverability than them in the air and practically just as much speed. So as long as you time it decently, you'll easily be able to board their ship and take them down. Now, a pretty advanced trick for jetpacks is using them in combination with shockwaves or some in-air momentum to completely stop your set trajectory and throw off your enemy's aim. So if you shockwave towards someone and appear to be going over their head, they'll flip their camera to look for you, but if you hit your jetpack activation once you're above their head, it will stop your momentum and they'll be totally lost and not know where you went. You can even do this by flying over people's heads in planes and then jumping out straight above them with a jetpack hover. Even at low altitudes, this can totally throw off their shot because they'll be tracking you for a big shotgun shot as you approach, and then you cancel all that momentum and make them miss. All you have to do is just double tap jump at any point in the air while you have a weapon out to begin that hover and cancel your momentum. Now, if your enemy is aware of you entering a hover, I highly recommend canceling the hover and falling back to the ground to gain another advantage in the fight by forcing them to vertically track you unexpectedly. Or alternatively, just go for a camera break by hovering above their head again. And the last trick I'll share with you is using the lightsaber and jetpack to do a boost ascension and be hard to hit or just climb faster. If you have your lightsaber out, you can enter a double jump by pressing jump twice, then press it a third time to enter a hover state. Now, cancel the hover state by pressing your crouch button and then hit your jump button 3 times in a row to do a lightsaber double jump followed by another hover. Then just repeat this to climb pretty quick. It's basically going to allow you to just keep double jumping with a lightsaber in the air and then hold your position at your max height with that hover. This move is pretty good for throwing people off if you're climbing up a large vertical wall by arriving sooner than they expect, or just to dodge shots in the air or climb faster. If you found this video helpful, please drop a like, it really helps me out. And if you want to take your zero build gameplay to extreme sweat levels, hit that subscribe button and check out my must-watch playlist for Fortnite Zero Build on my YouTube channel. I promise you will not regret it. And if my videos have already taken your gameplay to another level, please consider using code TobyWanShinobi in the Fortnite item shop to help support my family. I'm a father of 2 and we could really use some diaper money. I'd greatly appreciate it. Have yourself a wonderful day. Shinobi out.